Hi everyone, it's Lori-Lynn, SpiritWithinUs, and welcome back to my channel. And what my job is, what I do is called Journey of the Soul reading. And with my clients that come see me, I help them to find the blocks, to discover what may be in their way of moving forward. And if that's a huge lesson that they need to learn to move through to get to the other side. So it's whatever that is, that's what my job is to do. And so I really would like to reach as many people as possible. So I've decided to create this YouTube channel to help people to live their life with passion. That passion that's so deep inside of ourselves, that passion that's within our heart and our soul that we know to, and be really secure in that. But before I do that, I was going to use these cards, and this card of aloneness keeps coming up. So I thought what I would do, I'd start with and read what it says. When there is no significant others in our lives, we can either be lonely or enjoy the freedom that solitude brings. When we find no support among others for our deeply felt truths, we can either feel isolated and bitter or celebrate the fact that our vision is strong enough even to survive the powerful human need for the approval of friends, families, or colleagues. If you are facing such a situation now, be aware of how you are choosing to view your aloneness. The humble figure in this card glows with a light that emanates from within. And that's really what we all need to do, is find that light. That's that passion. So if there's a time of solitude and you're going through that time of solitude, that really is what you're needing to do, is to find that you're being led to this, in this space, to find that passion within yourself. And so one of Buddha's most significant contributions to the spiritual life of humankind was to insist to his disciples, be a light unto yourself. Ultimately, each of us must develop within ourselves the capacity to make our way through the darkness without any companion, map, or guide. And so he also says, like, when you're lonely, you're not usually alone, you're simply lonely. And there's a big difference between loneliness and aloneness. And if you're lonely, you're thinking of another, that you're missing someone else. Loneliness is typically a negative state. And often we feel that it would have been better if another was there, if we had somebody else, all these different things. But it's not. Loneliness is the absence of the other. Aloneness is the presence of oneself. And so it's the lesson within that is to understand that aloneness is positive. It is presence, and it is overflowing presence. So that maybe, you know what, we are, as a society, going through this huge period of aloneness, being by ourselves. And perhaps that's the reason that that card keeps coming up, because so many feel isolated. And even within, you can feel alone within your family, within where you're living, because you may not feel like you're being heard. Well, that's typically the time that you need to actually go within, and to discover what you need to discover in that time of aloneness, and find that passion within. Okay, so that's the message there. And if it means something to somebody, that's great. I think it has meaning for me, that's for sure. And so today I'm going to do 3 pick-a-card readings. And the first one is the orange. The second one is the blue. And the third one is the green. The green is very tiny. So there's orange, blue, and green. So just take a moment to breathe inward, and then just choose whether it be 1, 2, or 3. And we will get started with pile number 1, which is the orange. Okay, so put this to the side. So if you are new to this channel, welcome. And know that I don't look at the cards, or I choose them as, or look at them just now. I don't do research on them because my messages are from Spirit. And so I need them to be as authentic as possible. And so the other thing that I notice, like when I do readings, is that I don't always look at the camera. And a lot of that is because I'm needing to focus within myself and to hear the messages. And that's really important for me. And so that's the reason. It's not for any other reason. It's just easier for me to do it that way. Okay? If that makes sense. So group number 1, the major overall theme is about dreaming and to think really big. There are unseen forces ready to support your dreams. Okay, so what that's saying to me is that you do, I guess when we're talking about aloneness, is you need to find that time. And because perhaps you're thinking, I'm going to say too small. And because you may not think you're worthy of, something bigger, or that you can do it. You don't have the funds, you don't have the people, all of these different things, but it's not up to you to have to know how to get there. We put it out to the universe, to the unseen forces that are ready to support our dreams. And so remember that, and just dream as big as you can. And then you take little steps. I mean, it's to have a big dream, but you take the little steps of getting there, okay? That's what card pile number 1, what that's most about. Okay, so the card that reflects this card is Igniting My Joy. Attuning to the highest good in myself and others ignites my natural joy. And so this is a really positive choice after the card of dreams, because when you become passionate about what you're doing and igniting that joy within yourself, then that brings that out in other people, and people just want to be around, and people want to come to, like, say, to your channel. People want to come to your house because you're just living in that state of joy. And most people love to be around people that are fun, that are joyful. So you may have to be looking at what are the reasons or what's blocking me from being as joyful as possible, as joyful as I can be. And the card that comes up next is a card from the Archangel deck, and it's Divine Order. And the card states, everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see the underlying order. And so that says, like, the card of dreams is saying, put it out there, the universe will bring back, and it's saying igniting your joy. And so then just allowing, and it may be for other people or another person to find within themselves, or, more than oneself, to be on board as well. So there may be a lot of different people or spaces, places that once you put it out there, that all of a sudden it all starts coming together. But it doesn't come together until in divine timing, they say, but in the order that is really necessary for it to come together. So you create the vision, you ignite the joy within yourself, you share that with others, you just share your joy with others, and then know that what's coming up is what is meant to be. And so the most positive part of this is the next card is the card of movement. And this is from the Hidden Oracle deck of the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, I believe it is, by Colette Baron Reed. And the card of movement is about, he's taking huge steps, but being on top of that, you might not be aware of the steps that are actually being taken, and so you may not be able to see them. But there's also steps in other ways, as we said, in divine order. There's the balloon in the background, and so there's different ways, different manners that it all needs to come together. Everything needs to come together. So you may not be able to see that movement, but that movement's on its way to you. So that's trust and that's faith. Okay. The spiritual alignment card is, wow, okay, I trust that my powerful intentions combined with my faith are enough to allow my vision to become my reality. So this has it's almost like one step after the next, of what to do in this whole process. And it begins very basically. And I'm going to go back to the aloneness card. So it goes back to that place of, you know, finding that time, meditation, or just sitting in contemplation. It can be whatever it is, but it's for you to go within yourself, to really be alone, to know what makes you passionate, what makes you tick, what, you know, brings joy to yourself. And then ignite that joy from within yourself, and that brings forth, that's that vibrational energy that's all around us. So for group number 2 is probably really needing to, you know, finding that light within yourself, but believing that this is all going to happen because you deserve it. And so your block may be in the beginning of, you know, having alone time. There's a lot of people that, you know, if they're alone, they get really, really antsy or frustrated because they have to be busy, because being busy is really important to them. Perhaps if this is you, the truth of the matter is that you need to have that alone time to find that passion, that desire, that love within yourself, to create the dream that you really want, and then start, you know, making the movements forward, and bit by bit. And it's almost like small steps. If you look at it in a month from now, is a huge leap. And when I used to train people work-wise and at work, I used to always say to them, you know, you might feel really, really like you don't know anything right now, but 3 months from now, you will have learned so much. So just take this opportunity, because nobody's putting all that pressure on you. So take this opportunity to learn as you need to learn, as you need to grow. Okay, so this really is trusting in trusting in the power of your personal intentions, and combine that trust with faith, and allow your visions to become your reality. So the only person that's blocking you is you itself. That's really is not being able to believe in yourself. That's the key for group number 1, is believing in yourself, believing that you can dream. And it may have been in the past. Maybe you have had these dreams in the past and maybe they haven't come to fruition. That may be because you were locked in that state of not believing in yourself. So once you get past and over that, you can. So I do believe pile number 1, you need to spend time by yourself and really believing in yourself. If you need, can find a meditation that, you know, or just create your own mantras. I used to, when I first took my life coaching course, I used to write them on my hand, and I had little notepads and I put them in my car so that I could write them all down. And so I would remember them in the times that I really needed. And then again, when I was feeling more down, then you sit with that feeling for a minute, and then you remind yourself that, you know, that you really do love yourself and you really are deserving of. So what's in your way is either lack of self-confidence, you know, not believing in yourself, not believing in your truth, or, you know, not believing that there's enough. There's always enough, and there is truth. Your truth is all that matters. And so the messages that you tell yourself, so if you need to cut away all the other messages that have sat inside you, that other people have said to you, or, oh, this is like a big aha moment for me, sorry. Just in a realization that really when you don't believe in yourself, a lot of these things are not going to happen, because you don't. You have to have that faith, and it has to start with joy and intention. Okay, so that, wow, this spirit card that's with you is the Spirit of Wisdom. And it's a very important card because it always portrays the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is learned. Knowledge is learned through books. Why we go to school. So if you need to, you know, read up, go on YouTube, whatever you need to do, find out, you know, search for different affirmations that can help you. Find the one. You may need, you know, to search different ones, or you may need to go to different books. Take what you believe. Wisdom comes through experience. even with that knowledge. So this is about taking that next step. So do all of these things. First, believe in yourself. Become really joyful and happy knowing that you can bring forward, that you can manifest all of that, and that everything happens in divine timing when it is right. And there's no sense trying to push, because the more you push, the more you get stuck. Oh, and that comes back to the movement card. The more you push, the more you get stuck. So, and if this was all mud, he could get stuck. But you want to go forward, so he's taking his time, and the movement may seem slow, but he's this big, huge ostrich with these, this is very silly, with these huge legs. So the steps may seem small from your perspective at this point, but that step is actually quite large, are quite big. So I hope that makes sense. So you're going into a place of wisdom and finding that wisdom within yourself. And that's what will move you forward in helping to, whether, say, if you wanted to be a teacher, or you wanted to be even a spiritual teacher, or anything that you wanted to be, is going from, book smart to doing exactly, knowing, just knowing. That's where the wise people come from. Wisdom is experience with knowledge. Okay, so that's pile number 1. And so pile number 2 is the blue stone. Okay, and wow, the first card with pile number 2, those of you in pile number 2, is about choices. And it says reconsider a commitment, and you have the right to change your mind. And that's really important. Such a huge awareness, because I say it all the time, is that, make the decisions, just make them. And because some people are really afraid to, because they make a decision that, it's going to be a bad decision, or make a decision it's going to be, make the decision. You get to, if the decision doesn't turn out the way you wanted it to, you get to choose. It's your life to make a new decision. So you may be, believe that you're locked in somewhere where you are, but you're only locked there because you're holding yourself back, and you're saying, I made that choice. They say you made your bed, you have to sleep in it. Well, no, you make the bed again and move on. And we all get to make new decisions. And they have to come. I had this conversation with one of my closest friends last night. And, the decisions, it's whether to be selfish or selfless. And knowing that the decisions comes from within your heart, so that you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, because of that passion that making these decisions, a new decision that comes with making the new decision. Or you may decide to stay where you're at. Say, yeah, I really did. I made a great decision. So this is where I want to stay. I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forwards. So this is about understanding your choices, the reason that you made the choices, and knowing that it came from a place of love. If it came from being selfish, recognize that too, and then love yourself. And if it came from a selfless place, understand that as well. And, you want to see the bigger picture of the choices that you're making. So it's like stepping back to look at, I made this choice, and I would like to make this choice, or, and if I make that choice, what will it look like? And it may not transpire out to what you think it's going to look like, but you still have to make out your list and make a choice. It's up to you. Don't allow anybody else to make the choice. This is your life. You get to live your life with as much passion, with as much joy as you choose to. Okay, here's a very interesting, the card that goes along really with it, and it's savoring the positive. I allow myself the spaciousness of savoring the delicious gifts in my life. And again, we were talking about when we're making the choices and making the list and kind of seeing above, and we've got a hawk here and 2 more hawks up there, which the hawk I talked about yesterday with the hawk shows us is they see things from a really different perspective. So it's asking you that to see, even within whatever choice that you made, you know, maybe you were in a job or in a place that just wasn't, you know, filling your life with passion, or didn't go the way you thought. And so you want to make a new choice. There's always something that you could have learned, or you needed to go through to experience from the situation that you were previously in. And so that's savoring the positive, that light inside of yourself that allowed you to learn, to grow, and to be grateful for all of those gifts that were created, or what you created from that experience. So you can look at the experiences as bad, as negative, or you can go back and look at the experience and say, wow, I really gained a lot of knowledge. I gained a lot of wisdom. I gained so much from that experience. And you can take that as you move forward in making your choice. Okay, so interesting. The next card from the Archangel deck is the Leadership card, and I believe this is Gabriel. And really, this is about you stepping up to the plate and showing your role as a leader. And it says it's time for you to assume your leadership power and position and lovingly guide others. So know that you have that gift within yourself, that you are a leader, and that you can make the choices. You know what, maybe you've been afraid in a position at work, or position within a relationship, to be the leader. Somebody needs to be the leader when we're stuck. But the best leaders, well, actually it's a couple of things. Best leaders hire, in work positions, hire the best people. They say that really good CEOs will hire people that are more intelligent than them, because they'll know they'll do a great job, that they can do the job. And so, but leadership comes with so many different aspects, just with your choices that you're making, understanding that you need to take a lead role, because there may be somebody else that is not willing to do that. So if you want to move forward, somebody's got to be the leader and to get the flow going. So it's time to take your power and assume your leadership role. And it often seems scary, but it's saying that you really are in that position. You can do it. So maybe at work, you've been asked to take on a new role, that you're being offered a position. So look at the positive things that you've learned up until this point, and then know that you are ready. Maybe it's a position of leadership. Know that you have worked and you've earned that position, and you deserve to be where you are. Okay, so just really embrace that power within yourself, joyfully and with a passion. That's probably what they see within you, is that you have a passion for what you do. And that's why this is being offered. Okay. I must have looked really great on camera, but the next card that comes up is the card of making choices. So you really have a choice to make at this time, or a choice coming forward. And the reality within this card is that neither choice is right or wrong, good or bad. Either choice that you make is a choice that you've made with wisdom and with positivity, with seeing yourself as a leader, taking that and saying, I can do this, I know I can do it. And that's something that really gives me a lot of passion. And both sides open doors for you, either choice. So you're just at that place where you get to make the choices. I'm just seeing a lot of really different things within this card that I kind of haven't seen. One is a more calm place. Another one may be more, I'm not going to say action, but more, may require more work. And so therefore, when you're making the choice, know all of the elements within that. And always go back to your heart and soul's desire. And what is it that you truly, truly want? If taking a, taking a new position is going to take time away from things that you really love and enjoy doing, well, then perhaps you don't want to do that. Okay, so you've got to see the positive and on both sides of where you're going, and make the choice. And when you make that choice, make it with passion, make it with joy, make it with determination, knowing that's the best choice that you made in that moment. So this pile number 2 has choices to make. And so my super attractor power comes from how I feel, my faith and love, and the joy I put out. And that's what I was talking about before. And that's how we attract. And so what you're attracting, people have become attracted to you because of this leader that you are. Maybe that scares you. That could scare a lot of people, because being a leader, what does that mean? People are going to rely on me. Well, maybe I didn't trust in myself. Maybe I don't believe in myself enough to be a leader. So this is saying you need to step up, okay? Because this is the time for you to ignite your power, ignite your joy, and really coming from that place of what it is, knowing where you want, and okay, knowing at some point, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself in 2 years from now? And which avenue do you think will best take you to that place? Okay, so, but know that, and that's believing in your choice. So, the super attractor power comes from how you feel, your faith and love, and the power that you emanate, the power that you put out. That's our vibration, that's our aura. We put that out, and that's what brings forward what we most need. So maybe you haven't been offered that yet, but because of all of these steps that you've taken, that's going to bring that forward, and then the choices will be brought towards you. But it's about choice, and it's about taking your leadership role, whatever that means to you, no matter where you're at, but taking that role. It's time to not be afraid to be a leader, to be, and it may be your forethought. Maybe that's just why they want you. Leaders can think ahead. Leaders can think broader. They can think more diversely. And so also really good leaders can ignite joy in others and love their job. Okay, so that's part of if you belong on a hockey team. My father was a professional hockey player, and he was a captain of many teams he played on, and he was a leader. That was just the person that he was, and he always assumed that role, and he was so respected. He mentored many, many, many people, and it's just because he was a very joyful, positive, good to be around person. People wanted to be part of that. And you always say, be the party that you want to go to. So that party begins with yourself. It's like create a situation that you want to go to, and then the rest will just fall into place. Okay, so here we go. It's the Hunter of Vision. This is so much about, there's lots opening up for you, and I'm pretty sure that you are just locked in, blocked in, this feeling of not, unsurety, that you are, really worthy of, this leadership role, or this role that you're taking on. Should I, could I, would I? The answer is yes, 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 yes. No better answer. And so then go in it with, confidence. And confidence is the world. If you go into it with, with your head bowed down, that doesn't attract people. What attracts people is your aura that is, full of joy, that's full of love, and that has faith in the acceptance of that position. And so choices are coming up for you, and very nearly, if they haven't started now, it could just be an awareness at this point that choices are going to be made, because there's a lot of people that may have lost their jobs, And so now it's a new opportunity. So maybe it's about, do I want to go back to that place? Or do I want to move forward into something different? Maybe I need to think about that. So spend that time. Again, we're going to the aloneness card that keeps coming up. Going back to that point and finding the positive in, you know, the job that you were at, and then the strengths that you gained from being in that position, and then seeing that maybe you want to start fresh and do that. It's up to you. You get to do whatever it is that you want to do. You get to make the choices, okay? Because I said so. So pile number 3, that's the green pile. And the green card is the first, where we're starting from is the action card. The journey to find your lost self begins with one step. It's time to take action. Okay, so this card is saying right now is time to move forward, to take action, to not sit back. And, you know, there's been a lot of, the last 2 piles were a lot about contemplation, about dreaming, about, you know, making choices. This is about, you've done that. You've, you know, weighed the options, you've made choices or thought about different choices, but you're stuck in this place of making a step. So what's blocking you is you from taking that step. And where that fear is coming from would be, as always comes from our past, from something that has happened in our past that's blocking you. But here's the thing, is that you are ready. That's what this card is about. It begins with one step. Just take one step. And everything else will just fall into place. Because you've thought about it long enough. So stop thinking about it and start doing it. You know, it's time to be who you want to be. It's time to live your life with passion. It's time to live your life with joy. That's what it's saying. It's time to take action. You can still have your mornings of, you know, doing meditation, of doing, you know, however you start your mornings, but then it's time to go. You need to get up earlier and you need to start taking action towards the future that you want to live in. Okay, so the next card, it kind of boggles my mind sometimes how the cards just so align with one another. And so the next card that comes up, and it's path awareness. If I sincerely ask, I am guided back to the right path for me and to my central purpose. And so there you are. And it really says it all. It's time to take action. You have, if you are afraid to, then just ask. If you ask with sincerity, with love, and you could just say is that I'm very, very passionate about this. Should I do this? Can I do this? And the answer will be yes. And you need to do it. And then just take that first step, and knowing that each step will lead to the next step. Okay? It's always going to lead you forward to the next step, but you got to start that first step. It's like, you know, create your resume and get out there and hunting or whatever you want to do. But you've thought about it long enough, it's time to do it. Okay? Really, that when you're asking about your path awareness, ask that all the channels within you swing wide open, and that your visions and your decisions are crystal clear, and for them to be fully realized, because that's what you want. So you've taken all the steps to get to that point. You know what your path awareness is, and so now it's time to take action and to start moving. Okay, so the next card is take your power back. Okay, and this is Raziel, and use your God-given power and intention to manifest the blessings in your life. So quite honestly, it's been your doubts of yourself for whatever reason. They've been your doubts. And so, you know, you just need to know that you have that power within yourself. The power doesn't come from somewhere else. The power comes from within you. And someone's not going to come knocking at your door. Although that has happened and does happen to some people. But it's not coming knocking to your door, because part of your path is about you taking action. So it may be even karmatic for you, because it may have been in a past life, or even in the past, in this lifetime, that you've really held back because you've given your power to somebody else. Well, it's time to take your power back, okay? So call upon Archangel Raziel and use your God-given power and intention to manifest the blessings that you want in your life, okay? So just ask for help. You know where you want to go, so just say, guide me to where I need to be. I'm taking a step right now. Just guide me to where I want to be and what I need to do. Okay. Well, so they're going to give you some guidance right now. So the first place to start is education. Okay. So with you're taking action, that next step of action could be education. Educating yourself about, and it may not be about going back to school. It could be about, you know, either just reading something, but educate yourself about what it is that you want to do, okay? About, you know, what do I need if I want to, I'm going back to hockey, I don't know why, but that's kind of where it's taking me. But I'll change it up and I'll go to a singer. Yes, singers have, people that are musicians have these beautiful voices, but they're also trained. Even people like Celine Dion, all these people are still trained. And so, and they've, you know, had to go out and find, you know, the proper coaches, the managers, all of these different things. So educate yourself on what you need to do to get to that. But you've got to start, okay? And education is super important. Like, lay it all out, but you need to take the first step. That was one of the things that I learned starting the YouTube channel. I've been listening to a few things that they say, and one of the guys says is, just start. Just get out there, put it out there, do it. And do it every day, or do it twice a week, or whatever. Just do it. So I did that. And he said, you're going to stumble through a lot of them, and probably your first 50 YouTubes are going to be horrid, but you're going to get better and better and better each time you do it. So learn. So I'm still go on and I listen to what I need to listen to so that I learn, you know, how to expand that, how to grow, how to, and if that's just in self-belief and taking my power back and asking for that guidance, that's what it takes. You know, I just say, you know, Archangel Raziel, can you be with me? Can you, you know, this is my intention, and can you help me along my path? Show me the next right step. I'll take the first step, but you show me the next right step. Lead me to that step, okay? This pile got two cards from this, and this was the Peaks of Joy. And it's really important, especially when somebody is on this path awareness and they're taking that step and taking their path, their awareness of their path, is that there's lots of highs, but there's also lows. But there's usually more highs than there are lows. There are peaks of joy, so you really need to celebrate those. And the more that you celebrate, the lows will not be as low, and there'll almost be times of, oh, now I get to relax for a minute, because that's a period of low. So for those peaks of joy, really express that joy, be passionate about it, be really happy, be celebrating, creating that energy all around yourself to bring forth more of what you want to do, what you want to be. Now the Super Attractor card, wow, is when I'm tuned into the energy of abundance, I become abundance. I become abundant. And that is exactly what I was just talking about with the Peaks of Joy, is that tuning into your energy and knowing when you've made, you know, a success. Let's say you've made your first, you know, dollar. Sorry, Spirit sometimes puts these messages in my head that often sound really ridiculous, but they just said to me as a child, when you opened up a lemonade stand, the first person that came to buy, it was just that one person that needed to come to buy lemonade that would make you so excited. and want to do more because you made yourself a dime, a quarter, however much it cost. And so tune into that energy, to that place that brought you joy, that brings you further abundance. As a child, or as children in my neighborhood, we used to have these, it's crazy, absolutely crazy when I think back to it. We actually used to do, we had a carnival and a dance thing in the summertime, every year. And so the girls would, I even have pictures of it. The girls would be downstairs and listen to our favorite, music, and then we'd go outside. We would actually sell tickets. Believe it or not, we sold tickets. When we had the carnivals, we had like a kissing booth. We had different games that they can play. We went around the neighborhood and we sold tickets. We were so excited about it. All we wanted, and there's probably, I would say 15 kids. We were so excited about doing this because all we wanted to do was go to Dairy Queen. So after the carnival or after our, show, we would gather our money and we'd all go to Dairy Queen and get an ice cream. And really that was such excitement. So maybe you need to remember, go back to that time when you were far more innocent, that it just meant, even the small things bring the greatest joy. And so that one goodness brought further greatness. And so, think of yourself as being abundant. Tune into that energy. Remember that if you have to go back to those times of, when you did experience that, so that your mindset, so your energy is that color. It really comes back to the love, because this pile is about green, and it's really about loving yourself. That's because you've earned it and deserved it. And so that means that that's where the joy comes from. So you go back to that place, knowing you've earned, you've done the work. It's time to take action. It's time to move forward. Just ask for help when you need it. Celebrate the peaks of joy, and then tune into the energy of abundance. And when you tune into that energy of abundance, you become abundant. That's abundantly clear. Okay, so the final card here is Spirit of Destruction, which, I think the first time I caught, the card itself is beautiful. If you can see it really close up, the card's very, very beautiful, but just the fact that it's a spirit of destruction, it really feels, you think that it would be a scary card, or, take you to a place that is, that's not good. But the truth of the matter with the card of the Spirit of Destruction, and it's like the card of the Tower, but Spirit is guiding you on this pathway. And so it's asking, and sometimes we need to break down, we need to release all of those blocks that are in our way. And so when you take that first step, if you become fearful or you're sitting in that fear, ask yourself why you're afraid, and what are you afraid of? And then, bless yourself, send that away. Say, that's not who I am anymore. That may represent who I was, but that's not who I am now. And so then each time, and you're going to break down piece by piece and rid yourself of all of the stuff that does not matter, that is not meaningful to your life, to who you are, to where you want to be, to where you're going, your pathway. It's not leading you. Breaking that all down opens up the passion within yourself, within your heart space. And that's what you really want to do. I just want to pull, I just want to pull 3 cards. Why I do this, I have no idea. Wow. From the Osho meditation deck. And it's only funny because I often say that I'll see a card, and people say to me, oh, we need to, if the card falls out, you need to keep it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't follow a lot of rules. I just know that if I see something and it sticks in my head, that if it's meant to be, it's going to come out. That's a reality. And this was the card that I very much focused on when I was talking about the card of the aloneness, and this is the card of completion. And so what that is like it's the final piece of the puzzle that's all coming together. So right now, all three groups, you're in this place. We've been, you know, we are here in the middle of this pandemic for a reason. And perhaps that there's a lot of people, it could be a whole spiritual evolution. It very well could be, but things are going to start to make sense. And that is me, like the final piece is in there, and you're going to feel whole and complete again. That's where you want to be, is that place of completeness, of wholeness, of and the child in this picture is really, oh, wow. Okay, so I haven't seen this before when looking at this card. If you look at it, that's the third eye. That final piece is, the final piece is creating your vision. So that's why you'll know that, you know, whether you're in the first pile that's beginning to dream, you know, tap into your third eye. If you have choices, what is your vision? What have you always been passionate about? And for the next step, for the pile 3, you know what path you want to take. So all 3 of these leads to the place of completion of, yes, this is where I'm at. This is where I need to be. And so always say that I am where I need to be right now. This is the first day of the rest of my life. Really, that's what it means. It's my first step forward. And so take today and begin your steps. Okay? Whether that making the choice, understanding the choice, whether it's, you know, starting out to dream again. You know, maybe you've been, there's so many scenarios that are coming into my head, but, you know, maybe you've been a housewife your whole life. Maybe right now, you want to do something more than that. And it's not just a housewife, and I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that that job is super important. Maybe your kids are now on their own, and so you need to get out of that. So it's time to rethink the dream and to step into your power, to get that joy back in your life. And you did a great job. Now it's time to move on to something different, okay? So the next card that comes out, oh wow, is a card of flowering. So what this card means and is about is that you know that it's this vision that you've always had, that our life is, some say our life is pre-planned, but we also come here with free will. I believe in that statement to a huge degree, because I believe the free will is often, I don't know if every step, if I believe that every single step is meant to be, you know, that was pre-planned, but every step is meant to be. Every step, we may not get to where we came here to go to because of the fears and the blocks. And so we haven't lived that life that we actually came here to live because of those blocks. But I do believe that all those blocks were put there to open us up to live the life that we want to live with passion. Wow. Okay. And so then the final card is the card of maturity. And that really is, this means that it's time that, you know, you're at that point. It is now time. Time to, you know, to take your power back, time to be a leader, time to make the choice, time to move forward, time to step outside of your shell, time to, you know, cut away all the blocks that are, you know, keeping you stuck here. It's time. And you've grown, and see how much you have grown. And if you take the time today maybe to look in the dictionary and understand the word maturity, okay? I'll read from the book, actually, what it says, but so that you can get your own idea of maturity for yourself, and that may help you to understand as you move forward. So the card of maturity, And it says, the figure stands alone, silent and yet alert. The inner being is filled with flowers that carry the quality of springtime and regenerates wherever he goes. The inner flowering and the wholeness, which is the last card, that he felt affords the possibility of unlimited movement. He can move in any direction, within and without. It makes no difference, as his joy and maturity cannot be diminished by anything external. That is growth. That is huge growth. He has come to a time of centeredness and expansiveness. The white glow around the figure and is his protection and his light. And I'm always saying that is make sure that, you know, in the morning time that you do your prayers, and then you put the, you know, white light around you that clears, that clarifies, the blue healing light, and then the golden light. And so the white glow around this this person in this card is his protection and his light. All of life's experiences have brought him to this time of perfection. When you draw this card, know well this moment carries a gift. For hard work well done, your base is solid, and success and good fortune are yours, for they are the outcome that has already been experienced within. Okay, so that's what maturity is. So spend some time thinking about the whole maturity thing and seeing how you're flowering. And for each group to understand where you are and what block that you need to move through to get to the other side of, to live that life of passion that you so want to. Okay, so that's what I have today. Thank you very much. I truly love what I do, so I thank everybody and anybody who comes on to. Please subscribe, share, and if you think someone else could use this message or use a message, I thank you so much if you do that. And I also do personal readings, and I can be reached at SpiritWithinUs@msn.com, or I have a Facebook page, that's Spirit Within Us as well. Everything's Spirit Within Us. And so I just say much love, namaste, and have the most incredibly adventurous, passionate day today. Okay, much love, Lori-Lynn.